In this issue, Jeffrey Fortuna swims with an angry billfish to get an epic cover for Kayak Fish magazine. In the Adirondacks, Robert Field and crew chase smallies through 100 miles of lakes, rivers, and briar patches. All this, plus bow fishing with the Funks, and Jerry McBride has the lowdown on the Wilderness Systems Tarpon 130X with the new Helix electric drive. Then Jeff Little shows us how to use it, motoring into the Chesapeake to catch and release a cow of a striped bass.
So I'm Jeffrey, and this is Morgan, Prominence, and we're gonna chat about this cover. It's a photo that I took of Morgan catching a giant sailfish, and we were in Loretto, and this was June of 2015, and yeah, just some of the stuff that we learned. I was expecting, everybody talks about Loretto, it was like giant Dorado and a lot of yellowtail, maybe not that time of the year, but we didn't really do that well on Dorado.
Jeffrey makes a Mirage Drive Hobie look like the most incredible filming machine. He's got his camera set up in a certain way where, you know, if he's got to sprint over with the Mirage Drive to Doug who's pulling on a fish, and then to me, he's always got, you know, a different lens or a different kind of camera within reach. So they make incredible camera boats, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've done shoots like that where I'm on a Punga or I'm on something motorized or something different than you're on. When it's on and you're on a big fish like this, to be able to kind of pace right with you and be out of your way and be quiet, and I can get in and out of the boat super fast. And with this housing, the way I shot that actual photo was I wasn't in the water for this one. I did jump in the water, but that was a little bit later on. When you're still hooked onto that fish and it's still pulling you, if I get out, I'm just gonna be floating in the water and you're gonna be 100 yards away. So yeah, I can shoot off a kayak pretty easily, underwater or over-unders or whatever I need to do.
That was a pretty active fish. He jumped quite a bit, and I got him pretty close to the kayak fast because the day before we had been on that same bank and we had seen about 15 marlin. So we were sprinting our butts off, just pedaling, trying to catch up to these marlin. I think we hooked 3 or 4 of them and we landed one. We got him to the kayak, but we went there this day and the marlin had just completely disappeared. And then I went over the high spot of the bank and I hooked into this sailfish, and I felt very lucky to get it. It was a good sized sailfish, you know, for Pacific sailfish.
The other killer feature that we kind of have to talk about is the VHF radio. The radios, I mean, not only just to have on you all the time for safety. A lot of guys now, like, they'll talk about like, oh, I'm gonna have my cell phone and it's waterproof or I have a case for it or whatever. But I mean, the VHF, just being able to chat.
You can't beat it, you know? Especially
with that size group. What happens is if Morgan and the guys are catching fish, I feel like naturally they kind of stay clustered and they stay tight together. But when they're not catching fish, they start spreading out. And once you're a few hundred yards away, you can't hear anything. You can't see hand signals and you don't really know what's happening. And then once you get further and further, I mean, a guy can be hooked up and fighting a fish and you wouldn't even notice.
Yeah,
you'd have to be looking right at him and notice a speed or see a splash or something, especially if the wind comes up or something like that. So the radios, I would have a radio, and when these guys are fishing, what's cool too is he can be on a different rig or trying a different bait or a different lure, and they can be chatting like, hey, this is not working, like I just tried that, like try something else. So you can go back and forth with how to fish it, but also they can let me know, like, hey, I'm getting some readings on the fish finder. I think I'm about to get hooked up. I see some action, like I felt a bite, like get over here right now.
You need to be prepared and ready for when that moment happens so that you can get the right people over there and capture, you know, that kind of thing. And that's why your shot ended up on the front of a magazine like Kayak Fish. And I mean, it's an incredible shot, dude. The fish is all dark. It looks like basically a dragon underneath there. Go onto Kayak Fish's website and check it out if you're not already on it.
I could see a photographer where they're kind of like, I want to stay out of the way. I want to let this guy land this fish, and then he'll hoist it out of the water, and then I'll take my pictures. But that picture is too played out. Like this one, what makes it so special is like it's still like in the heat of the battle, and it's hooked up and it's towing him, and I was close enough. I don't think I really wanted to be quite that close. I mean, right after that is when that fish jumped out of the water, and I was right there, kind of in the way. But taking those chances, I mean, that was what made it all happen.
It's a balance of the photographer working, getting the right angle, and also the angler, like, you know, getting the fish on the right side of the boat and stuff like that. There's a lot that actually goes into getting a shot like this. And yeah, I mean, another incredible shot, man, and I hope that we can do it again and look forward to getting another cover for Kayak Fish, and maybe it'll be one of you guys or girls that are fishing with Jeffrey next time, utilizing these kind of tools to get on the front cover.
Hi, Jerry McBride from Kayak Fish Magazine. I'm here with a new offering from Wilderness Systems. This is the new Tarpon 130X. This one's actually a couple inches wider. The literature says it's 32 inches wide. All of my tapes say it's about 31. Now, the reason they widen the boat is to make space for two things. One is the electronics pod, the OS Flex Pod system, and the other is their Air Max light seat, the Air Max Pro light to be exact. The centerpiece of this whole new outfit is this Helix Torpedo motor. 15 pounds, batteries enclosed, just a real simple system to set up. Basically, it's a plug and play model. It actually fits several of the models that Wilderness has now. It simply drops in, control cable connects you to a control box that will fit on either side depending on whether you're a left-handed or right-handed caster, which takes you forward and back. And with GPS positioning on it, it will tell you your run time, your charge availability, and there's a little fail-safe on here. Should you fall out of the boat, this little magnet becomes disattached and the motor stops, so it doesn't run away from you and you don't have a long swim home. One thing I do like about the boat is a lot of tracks forward, in the back, so adding obviously rod holders, accessories, that's not going to be an issue. Plenty of hatch space, big front hatch, nice 8-inch hatch here, and the rear tank well is an extra long 42 inches, which facilitates a lot of cargo back there. And depending on where you slide this Air Pro Max light seat, actually leaves you a lot of space behind the seat. Direction is controlled by foot rudder, so that's real simple. Simply a drop down rudder on the stern, and it kicks up should you run aground. And if you need to put your paddle down in a hurry to take that shot at a fish, a little paddle keeper up there with a roller makes it nice and easy to temporarily store your paddle. Actually, a very simple system. I'm not a mechanic, and I put it all together without instructions in about 5 minutes. For more information on the Wilderness Systems 130X and the Helix Torpedo motor drive, go to kayakfishmag.com.
Out on the flats today, and already got 2 lines out there trolling with hard baits. Double. Oh, double. Which one? I don't know which one to go for. They're both doing this. Oh, that one popped off. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I think this is the one that was pulling harder. I'm running out of line. That's why I got to chase. Come around here. Rod up out of the way. Pump. Pump, reel. Pump, reel. It's doing no good. That's a wide fish. Come on. Oh, that's a big heavy. You take a picture for me?
Got it.
Oh, it's good.
Good lighting right now on this one too.
Got it.
A little closer. Got it.
All right, so we're under power. I still have that fish on, and the reason why I have it bokeh here, I've had it out for pictures, and I really want this fish, you know, to be fully revived. And as soon as I start feeling her shaking her head saying, hey, let go, I'm ready to go, then that's when we're gonna do it. I just felt one head shake, but I wanna feel a couple just to make sure. She's down there. Not yet. I'm not going real fast. I'm just creeping along, 1.5 miles. But this just ensures that fish doesn't go down there and lay on the bottom to exhaustion. You know, make sure that the fish is healthy and can go out and do what she needs to do to make the next generation of striped bass for us all to catch on the Chesapeake here and elsewhere. This is the cradle. This is, you know, this is where we grow them for the whole Atlantic stock. I know they spawn in other rivers, but the Chesapeake is special. All right, let's let this baby go. All right, you are free. There she goes.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Pharaoh Kitchen. Today we're going to make for you one of our favorite shrimp dishes. It's adopted from an oyster dish, so it doesn't really have a name for us. You know, I don't care what you call it, as long as you call me for supper. This one is outstanding, doesn't matter whether it's an appetizer or just a party favor, or if you eat it as a whole meal. So let's go over what you're going to need. All right, going to need some shrimp, peeled and deveined. I like smaller ones, preferably for this one, you know, in the 30 to 40 count per dozen. Block of Monterey Jack cheese, a coarse ground garlic. Now, you don't want that fine garlic powder. This has got a pretty good sized granule to it, and it works really well with this dish. Dried dillweed goes real good with seafood of any kind. And of course, some sort of Creole or Cajun seasoning. And a stick of butter. They assemble on these small mini muffin tins, and they're going to be served on crackers. So let's start assembling, see how it turns out. Alright, we got a block of Monterey Jack cheese on each shrimp, and it's sitting right there in the crook, so it's going to melt down all around that. Now what I've done with the butter and the garlic, I've added all that, and the garlic has soaked up that butter and the dill, and it smells awesome, and it ain't even cooking yet. So we're going to take a little spoon of that and go right in each one, and that's going to make that buttery, cheesy, garlicky, and awesome. Oven at 350, around 7 minutes. Watch the magic happen. That right there is some count. Alright, you can see all that melty, cheesy, shrimpy, gooey goodness. And we like to put them on these multigrain club crackers. Y'all can do what you want. But you take that rascal, put that on there, put your little old shot of lime juice, lemon juice, maybe even a shot of sriracha on there, and I'm telling you, y'all will be calling me and inviting me for supper. Alright, there you go. Super simple, really quick, outstanding. Like I said, doesn't matter whether it's for an appetizer, you know, a party snack, or an entire meal. Hope y'all enjoy it.
Alright guys, day one of our Adirondacks canoe expedition starts now. Oh yeah, dude. Fish on. Nice. Oh, it's a dinosaur. Big smallie, Ben DeShaney, another fish. I'll tail again. Let's keep things interesting. And we are running out of time, way behind schedule. It is no longer raining. It is now snowing on us.
Problem is, it
goes around the bend.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous. To the right just a tiny bit. Go. Watch out over here. Go left a little bit. Oh, wait. Oh. We made it! Woo! Holy sh!
Half-mile carry first thing pretty much after another half-mile paddle.
We missed our turn or something. This place is like a maze. You guys see it? Is that it? That I'm standing on right now? This is not solid.
This looks sketchy here.
It's super sketchy.
Don't worry, they're only gonna get harder. Shoot over it. Yeah. And both Rex and I hooked up. Rex is on a fish right now.
Nice fish, man.
Nice smallie. Maybe my best smallmouth ever. Oh yeah. And we made it.
Nice.
McBride, Kayak Fish Magazine. Mambo mullet has to be one of the easiest lures on the planet to fish. Throw it out, reel it in. Very little angler input required. It's got a great big tail that produces lots of vibration. It's got articulated segments on the tail that produce lots of movement, and it's got, perhaps most importantly, it's got some forward-facing cups that grab a lot of water, create a lot of kind of unique rolling side-to-side action. You can throw it out and wake it just beneath the surface. You can let it sink and bring it in slowly down deep. So it's very versatile that way. One of the things I like best about it is that if you reel it in slowly, because of the weight forward head and the big lightweight tail, it has a head down, tail up presentation, which looks like a wounded baitfish that's having trouble maintaining neutral buoyancy. In other words, it looks like a real easy target for a predator. It's available in 10 different colors. For more information on the Mambo mullet, go to kayakfishmag.com.
Last fall, we brought a piece to you through Yak Anglers Inside and Out about bow fishing. Now, some of y'all made some awesome comments. It was real cool seeing the reaction that folks had, you know, but there was another group of you that made some comments that your mamas wouldn't have been so proud of, even though we proved that we used the gar for a food resource, the carp were used for our green fields as fertilizer and stuff like that. You know, and neither one of us are out to eradicate a species from the face of the earth. We're just out having us a good old time. So if you fall in that latter group, I suggest you sit this one out.
You've been warned.